Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Deacon of Real Estate podcast, starring Alex Deacon. And I am not he. He is not I, and I am not he. Alex, you are he.
That sounds like a rap song.
It might be. What's going on, Alex?
Oh, how you doing today, Adam?
I'm doing well. Getting ready for Christmas and all that, so ready for it to be over.
Yeah, it hasn't even started yet.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so what do you want to talk about today?
You know what, Alex? I thought today it would be a great day to discuss whether or not you, meaning you listening at home, are cut out to be a landlord or not. Because I know being a landlord is much different than property investment, flipping, different things like that. Talk to me a little bit about the positives and negatives and what it takes to be a successful and efficient landlord.
Well, the thing I focus on the most in when I do the training or when I'm talking to somebody who's just starting out is you have to be willing to literally work for free. You have to. It's a different mentality when you are an entrepreneur, real estate entrepreneur, any type of entrepreneur, right? It doesn't have to be real estate, but you also have to keep in mind that, you're going to be working for free. So sometimes it's going to cost you money. Because you're paying your tuition. I call it tuition. And this business, in my opinion, you just don't jump into it and make money right away. So
you almost pay your dues.
If you want to be a landlord, you have to be willing to suffer. You have to be willing to pay your dues. You have to be willing to learn, fail, grow from it. So some people just aren't cut out for that. Some people, honestly, you have to look yourself in the mirror and you have to make that decision. But if you're adverse to any sort of risk or any sort of uncomfortability in your life, then you shouldn't be a landlord. Because there is some risk involved. Now, being 25 years in the business now, the risk for me is extremely minimized because I know where the risk is and where it isn't. There's always some risk.
Okay. But
when you're first starting out, the risk level is super high because your real estate IQ is low, risk is high. When your real estate IQ is high, your risk is low.
And because I would imagine as a landlord, and this goes to anybody out there for, perfect example, if you're a person that you do not like confrontation, you do not like potentially awkward scenarios where you have to put the clamps on people sometimes, figuratively, not literally, just metaphorically speaking here. But I think right off the bat, that being a landlord, you're gonna have more problems, I think, on a regular basis to deal with. And if you're a person that doesn't deal with conflict well, that right off the bat might be a red flag to stay away from the landlord side of it. Am I wrong about that, or?
Yes, honestly, success equals more problems. It's just a matter of fact.
No money, no problems.
It is. It's so true. But it's how you handle it. I look at problems. I try to look at problems like a blessing because from every problem usually arises or can arise a solution or another door. When one door closes, another door opens. And if you look at it that way, it'll tend to work out that way for you. Now, for the longest time, and I still do, when something goes wrong, I literally just want to stop. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm giving up. Mm-hmm. And I'll have those days. And sometimes I'll have a couple days or a couple weeks like that. But then I bounce back. So those are your entrepreneurial muscles at work. Because you have to be able to bounce back. You have to take bad news, digest it. Yeah, you can have a bad day. You can go home and crawl into the covers and just chill. But you have to be able to bounce back. And as you work those entrepreneurial muscles, those real estate investor muscles, they'll grow. And problems will become less. And when they do come up, you don't look at them as problems, you look at them as opportunities.
Just obstacles that just always looking for the silver lining in a way.
We just had somebody, literally a key person on our repair side, quit yesterday. He's quitting in the next couple of weeks. He got a great opportunity. He's older. The opportunity he has is probably more suited for his age. And I was sad to see him go because he's a huge asset. But my wife and Travis, who runs the repair department, they were kind of like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? I said, don't worry about it. We met with a kid today. Fantastic. And I knew this kid and got him at the right time. So for every like I said, for every door that closes, another one opens. So you just have to be ready.
Yep.
At all times,
Yep.
be on your A game.
Always look at the positive side of things.
Yeah, for sure.
For every end is a beginning.
You got it.
And every beginning has an end. So.
But I did a blog recently on this landlording question, and it's basically.
Where could we find that blog?
Oh, you could find that on dhrea.com/freelearn, right?
And Bigger Pockets.
Oh, and Bigger Pockets. Yeah, actually, we're gonna have to post this on the DHR.
Yes, sir.
So
it'll be on by the time this is published. It'll be on there. So both sites.
What he said.
Bigger Pockets or dhrea.com.
Yeah, but if you go to Bigger Pockets, which is a great website, you can learn a whole lot of stuff on that website. That's it's a free real estate forum, biggerpockets.com. If you click on Alex Deacon, you can follow me, you can check out my blog posts there, and then you go to our website, dhrea.com. But the one I just posted on Bigger Pockets is, Are You Cut Out to Be a Landlord? That's the heading of it. And unfortunately, we are not all created equal. So what I don't want to do is deter anyone from, trying to reach their dreams and be an entrepreneur and a success at real estate. I don't ever want to tell somebody they can't do it. What I want to tell you is, if you're not cut out to be a landlord, you need to think twice about jumping into it. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be one. What that means is you can go and buy a property, but you should not manage the property.
Correct.
You should hire a good property manager. And by doing that, you eliminate what you're bad at and you focus on what you're good at. You might be good at finding the deals. You might be good at the numbers. You might be good at accounting. You might be good at just everything else. But when it comes to that confrontation, like you said, with tenants and knowing what to say and how to say it and when to say it, you should have a property manager.
And it's almost where play to your strengths and have the right people around you to strengthen your weaknesses.
Yes, and that all boils back down to, and we every time we do one of these sessions, we talk about team building.
Yeah.
You have to have a good team. Man, I am good. I am really good at certain things, and I am really bad at other things. So the key to success in anything is knowing what you're good at and knowing what you're bad at. And if you think you're good at everything, then there's something wrong.
Yes.
So if you're the kind of person that thinks I can do it better than anyone else, and you probably should look in the mirror and think about that a little closer, because there's always someone who can do it better than you.
Yeah. I think it's imperative in any industry, no matter whether you're a self-entrepreneur, no matter what you're doing, you have to check yourself. You know what I mean? And and I'm very hard on myself all the time, but I do that to set goals, because I'm not saying everybody should knock themselves down. Please don't take it that way. But when I do, I tend to set goals, and maybe it shouldn't take me to get to that point. But that goes along with anything else. Sometimes in this, you have to fall to.
You have to have some humility.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Definitely. So anyway, go back to this blog. I was just reading through it here real quick. So some folks are not cut out to be a landlord. If you're not able to handle risk and uncertainty, this is one thing that you will not read in any book, any real estate book, or anybody who's online or has a commercial on television is always going to be upbeat and optimistic and positive, and nothing can ever go wrong in real estate. And there's no reason not to think that way, but that's a bad way to think, because there are bad things that are going to happen.
Right.
So I'm not saying don't think positive, but yeah, you have to absolutely think positive. You have to bounce back after any sort of wrongs that have been done to you or anything that's gone wrong with you in your business life. But you also have to be able to bounce back and be realistic.
Yeah.
So it's not just being positive, but it's being positive and sprinkle in some realism.
I truly believe there is such a thing as positive cynicism. It's not, obviously cynicism can be very negative, but if it's to point out something that you need to see to help you overcome something, whether you want to see it or not, I think that's a good thing. I really do.
Yeah,
I don't take that as a negative.
Yeah, without a doubt. You need to sprinkle in some cynicism and reality.
Yes.
But to always look at things like the glass is half full all the time, that's just bad.
Sometimes you got to see that it's half empty just to appreciate when it's half full.
Yeah, you do. So one day in my life, literally every day is a roller coaster. I mean, in all the businesses I have and I run, it's up and down all the time. It's never... And I guess, you know what, that's probably good, because it's the down times that you appreciate when things are going right.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. It can't be going right all the time, because then you get
spoiled.
You get spoiled. You get a different view on an outlook on life, and I mean, the downtimes give you that balance.
Yes.
You know?
I agree.
I guess it's kind of, you could equate that to like a Hollywood star, you know, that grew up in Hollywood and everything was a certain way, and then when things tank, everything's always good for this child star, and then things tank.
And everything goes
and
away.
Nobody wants you.
Yep.
And those folks go into deep depression, and
Yep.
and that's bad, because they haven't had it up and down. They haven't had the ups and downs. I've had plenty of that, and I still get it every day. It's not like one day I'm on top of the world, and the next day I get a $20,000 sewer line that needs replaced, and you know, or the next day I'm getting sued because somebody slipped and fell on one of my sidewalks. That, I mean, the more real estate you own, the more businesses you own, the more successful you are, you're going to have more lawsuits.
Yep.
It just comes with it, especially in real estate. You have it's just amazing what people. One lady fell through a ceiling in one of our properties, which she was up in the attic for what reason I don't know, and she fell through the ceiling and sued. And it's not like, it's unfair, right?
Right.
Oh, why do I have to even? Why are we even going to court over this? It's like, I'm not the one that walked up to the attic and fell through the floor. It wasn't an attic that you like should be in anyway.
Right, exactly. Right.
So, but that's the kind of thing you have to deal with. It's a complete unfairness. The way the landlord and tenant laws are written, they're unfair to landlords. So get ready for it. I'll give you a good example. Tenant's not paying your rent. Middle of winter, her boiler stops working. I think I told this story before. You have to fix the boiler. So if it's a $5,000 repair, and that lady's living there for free, and she's filed for bankruptcy, and she's going to continue living there for the next 9 months for free, you have to buy a boiler, and you have to fix it, and you have to repair it. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You have to supply that woman heat until you go through the due process of the eviction or the bankruptcy. You're responsible for that house. So that's the kind of thing that will put you over the edge if you're a landlord.
And are tenant landlord laws, do they differ state by state, or is there?
I'm sure they do.
Okay.
I'm sure they do, but I'm also sure that a blanket statement said right here is every state, probably one way or another, is in favor of the tenant more than they are in favor of the landlord.
So definitely, if you happen to be outside of Pennsylvania, definitely check your local laws and know your laws. And that's one thing. You know, knowledge, like we always talk about too, knowledge and information is just as important as anything else.
Yeah, so true. So, I mean, there's just so much to learn. There's so much to know about being a landlord. And the way you landlord, the way you run your landlording business, if you're an owner of one property or 10 properties, it varies, from state to state. It varies from county to county. It'll vary from municipality to municipality depending on who's the magistrate and how they look at the landlord and the tenant. And it depends on what area you're buying in. If you're buying in a predominantly higher income area, you're going to have different issues than you will if you're buying in a low income, high crime area. The issues are going to be different. And you have to know what they are. And that's something you're not going to typically read in a book until you get out there and know the market and know what the differences are.
And know your market too, you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. So typically, it's just a tough business. So we'll go down through some more of my bullet points on this blog. But if you want instant gratification, you're not cut out to be a landlord. If you want instant gratification in any sort of entrepreneurial business, you're really not cut out for it because you're not going to get instant gratification. Because this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yep. Okay? Slow and steady wins the race sometimes.
One thing I see a ton of investors jump into this game and they have zero money. So how many times do you see buy with zero money down, become a millionaire overnight? That gets you to buy the book. But the reality is you need to have a contingency fund set aside. So, for instance, you buy your first home, make sure you have 3-6 months of mortgage payments set aside. Because if something goes wrong with that particular investment, or something goes wrong in your financial, personal life, you need to have that money set aside, because that stress will literally kill you. So make sure you have enough money set aside before you jump